Alright guys, welcome back. What you've just watched over the past hour or so of video, I mentioned it ahead of time, and I mentioned it probably a second ago for you guys, but I'm going to actually have to re-record, the video. Obviously, you just saw it happen, so from this point on, this is all going to be first time recording, so hopefully nothing will be, out of sync, obviously, anymore. Sorry about that. I'm already dreading the work, but I'm gonna save it for later. So anyway, let's continue. The smoking room was filled with a cloud of cigarette smoke. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electric noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Was he vaping? Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor where the sun didn't even reach? I recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about 1/10 of the municipality's revenue. We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wish they'd show us a little more respect.
どうしてこれがウーマン切りなんすか?
Who are you, businessman?
街が狭くなっちゃうっすよ。
One of the younger detectives was having a staring contest with a Mahang magazine called Next Turn.
ウーマン切ってもテンパイ崩れませんから、配定にかけるなら両面で受けた方がチャンスあるんじゃないですか?
I don't know anything about Mahang or Mahjong or however you say that. I don't know anything about it. I know it's like Japanese checkers almost, but not really.
クマちゃん、川を見てください。ウーマンは全員切ってますから安牌なんですよ。終盤で K 点に走った誰かがダマで待ってたら嫌でしょ。
The kid let out another groan, put out a cigarette, then took out another one.
納得いかないっすね。わざわざ自分で当たり牌減らすなんて。
ちなみに配定で当たり牌出しても論しちゃダメですよ。
え、どうしてっすか?
Just then, I heard a voice coming from down the hall.
大石さん、いますか? 一般の方から凱旋です。
ありゃ、こりゃどうも。それじゃ、ちょいと失礼。
どうして論しちゃダメなんすか? あ、待ってくださいよ、大石さん!
The man sitting in the seat Oishi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone receiver.
凱旋です。講習から。
どうもすいません。お待たせしました。大石です。もしもし。
大石さんですか?
Ah, we made it. I wasn't sure we were gonna make it. Okay.
もしもし。
前原さんじゃありませんか。どうもどうも、こんにちは。
From the tone of my Barakun's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. This was the first time my Barakun had phoned me, and he was calling from a payphone.
落ち着いてください。何がありました?
Yeah, a lot of something's happened. I mean, like, for one thing, we murdered somebody. His voice was erratic over the line. He had completely lost his sense of composure. After checking that nobody else could hear, I prompted him in a hushed tone.
何があったんです? 落ち着いて前原さん。今そこに近場の警官を行かせます。私もすぐそっちに行きますよ。
多分無理です。
Uh-oh. His voice was quivering and hoarse. Did we get stabbed in the phone booth? He wasn't surrounded by people even as he was making this call, was he?
前原さんは今公衆電話からかけてますよね。どこの公衆電話ですか?
There were no other sounds besides my Barakun's voice. It had to be a phone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across from me. Hinamizawa, phone booth. He understood quickly and hastily started on the internal lines.
落ち着いて前原さん。今どういう状況なんです?
It was best practice to avoid flustering someone panicking, but this was an urgent case. My Barakun didn't just get in trouble, get away, then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at my Barakun right now would just needlessly cause him to be even more frantic. My Barakun wasn't just calling to seek help. He was trying to tell us something more than that. And whatever that was, if I didn't get it from this call, I was certain there would never be another chance. My colleague pushed a note in front of me. There's only one booth in Hinamizawa. A patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes.
かかりすぎです。ケイラには何人乗ってます？
2人です。
Not enough. If it was as I imagined, there were likely quite a few people surrounding my Barakun. 5 minutes was too long.
ひなみ沢の駐在さんには電話しました。
定時巡回の時間です。家人は留守で連絡不能。
そう。クマちゃん、車を回してください。
了解っす。
もしもし、おじちゃん。
もしもし、大丈夫です。ちゃんと聞こえてますよ。
There was something wrong with my Barakun. Is he clawing out his own throat? Oh, this wasn't a normal coughing sound. Vomiting? Or was it blood? Blood? Had he already been attacked? Was he injured?
前原さん、今そこに警官が向かってます。2、3分で到着しますから何とか持ちこたえてください。もしもし、聞こえてますか？
もしもーし。
前原さん。
もしもーし。I could hear on the other end of the line that he was having a coughing fit. Mosh mosh. The worst possible situation popped into my head.
前原さん、犯人は誰です？何人なんです？
Dang it, hold on, I gotta take this call, it's important. Alright, sorry about that, but while I was taking a quick break, I did think about this a little. You know, I'm kind of wondering if, in the heat of the moment, everything happening, Keiichi may have actually still been injected with that needle. Didn't notice it. And when he taped on the syringe, it's an empty syringe at this point. But he didn't notice it because he's all like, everything's happening, and he's like, syringe, tape. Doesn't notice that the syringe is empty and it's been used. That kind of thing. I'm kind of wondering if he still got injected with it anyway.
俺も最初は人間が犯人なんだと思いま
I couldn't tell if that was a cough or vomiting.
大丈夫ですか？前原さん。
Oh yeah, he's great.
犯人は人間なんだって。お社様のたたりなんかないんだって。
It's hallucinating.
ついさっきまで。だけどやっぱり。
It was an intense bout of coughing, then vomiting.
でもやっぱりお社様ってのはいます今。
前原さん、どうか落ち着いて。
なんかさっきからおかしいと思ってたんです。
Keiichi's really gone off the deep end now.
ずーっとつけてくるんですよ。走っても走っても走っても走っても影みたいにぴったりくっついて。だけど少しずつ俺の背中にいじり寄ってくるんです。
前原さん、そいつは今ひょっとして前原さんの後ろに
すぐ後ろに。
お願いです。前原さん、怖いのはわかります。ですがあなたの後ろに誰がいるんです？
振り向けるわけないじゃないですか。振り向いたら俺
怖いのはわかります。でも教えてほしい。ちょっと振り返るだけでいいんです。
Don't be lazy. Tell me who it is.
誰がいるんです？
Right after I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmarish sound.
前原さん、あんたまさか喉をひっかいてたりはしないでしょうね。
Are you clawing out your own throat? There was no answer, but I could hear something like scratching. Don't do that, my bar! There was a bang as if something was being hit. My Barakun had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomiting over on the other end, and a repeating abnormal noise.
もしもし
Mosh mosh!
相原さん
Mosh mosh! I knew how far away my voice would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout. At that moment, I heard whispering coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying. From the way he was saying it, was he talking to himself? Or was he talking to someone there?
もしもし前原さん
Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. I focused my senses, trying to pick up on what he was saying. What was he repeating? Is he saying, "I'm sorry"? What exactly? Beep! Suddenly the line went dead. Did he use up his time? It was because it was a payphone. It was because it cut out so abruptly. The last thing he said came out so clearly in my mind.
おいさん車 OK っすおいさん
ごめんなさい
Mosh mosh! Yep. I knew it was that.
おいさん
That's what he was repeating over and over. He said, "I'm sorry." I had a gut feeling. There was no longer a need to hurry. I could hear the chirp of the Higurashi spilling in from the open window. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying any attention. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Were they trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. That's how I felt. July 1983. In Hinamizawa, a remote village near Shishibone City, there was a murder involving 2 female students. The suspect is Keiichi Maibara. The suspect called over his 2 female classmates, Rin Ryugu, Mian Sonozaki, to his house, and beat them to death with a metal bat. As you do. The scene of the crime was the suspect's room on the 2nd floor of his house. The inside of the room was covered with a significant quantity of splattered blood, and there was a sign of a struggle with the victims. In addition to the scene of the crime, the entryway, living room, and kitchen all had traces of a struggle. At the entryway, the shoe rack and wall had evidence of being impacted by a strong blunt force. It is believed to have been the same bat as the murder weapon. Having no traces of blood, it is believed the destruction occurred before the murders. There is the possibility that the suspect overpowered his victims to keep them from fleeing. In the living room, the rug had been pulled back, then thrown aside. It's hard to believe that this had a connection to the struggle with the victims, and thus the reason for this remains unknown. Kind of feel like that might be important for something later, though. In the kitchen, the garbage bag was torn apart, and its contents were spread out on the floor. This was him looking for the needle, wasn't it? Because that happened relative to what we just experienced the night before, and his parents still weren't around. So he apparently strew around the garbage and then never cleaned it up. Garbage was strewn about in the surrounding area, and handprints believed to belong to the suspect were discovered. It's believed that the suspect had, for some reason, taken out the garbage and struck it with his fists. The reason for this remains unknown. In addition, there was a note stuck to the fridge. The words, "Was there a needle?" were written on it. The meaning behind this remains unclear. Just in case, the garbage was searched, but the needle was not discovered. Yeah, from the police perspective here, Keiichi looks like an absolute raving madman. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not exactly feeling like that might be wrong. You know, that might actually be totally right. Though the garage door is functional, it had been left open ever since the suspect moved in. The garage door is found closed. So, he closed the garage door in an effort to make it look like his parents were still home, right? But they never actually ever closed it, apparently. The suspect's fingerprints were discovered on the garage door. The reason behind this remains unknown. There's a lot of unknowns. The suspect fled the scene of the crime. However, a patrolling officer, Hinamizawa Local PD, found the suspect collapsed inside a phone booth. At the time of discovery, the suspect was unconscious in critical condition. He was rushed to the local hospital for treatment, but did not regain consciousness and died 24 hours later. The results of the autopsy indicate the immediate cause of death to have been hypovolemic shock. It was determined that the suspect had clawed at his own throat with his fingernails, and the resulting bleeding caused his death. With a similarity to the death of Tomitake-san the prior week, the police believe there to be connection and have opened an investigation. However, due to the wishes of the local authorities, it will be a confidential investigation. Due to the abnormal nature of the death, it was suspected that drugs were involved, but as with Tomitake-san, no traces were discovered. What prompted all this remains inexplicable. As such, this case is being treated as an act committed on impulse. However, with several accounts of the suspect's bizarre behavior leading up to the incident, it's possible that this was premeditated. Separated from his group of friends, isolation, inexplicable behavior. Several days before the incident, the suspect began carrying around a metal bat. The suspect was observed displaying an aggressive behavior, as well as talking to himself at school. His classmates have actually heard portions of what he was saying. 2 days before the incident, the suspect declared to his parents the possibility of his death. Due to these circumstances, the police have begun an investigation on the possibility that this crime was not committed on impulse, but was instead planned several days in advance. Afterwards, a note was found in the suspect's room that he had written himself. The note was written on 2 sheets from a B5 college-rolled notebook that had each been torn in half, and, as if trying to conceal it, was stuck hidden behind a clock on the wall. The contents are as written in the appendix. Don't leave me hanging there, I can't read Japanese. I hope we get that as a tip afterwards. The police believe it to be strongly related to the incident. The police changed their line of investigation based on the possibility that the suspect was involved in some sort of incident himself. However, no further clues were found, casting doubt on the credibility of the note. Was the crime impulsive or premeditated? With the situation unclear and no further developments, the case has been labeled as unresolved. However, the following year, suspicion arose regarding the nature of the note. The note was not written on 2 halves of B5 paper from 2 separate sheets, but was originally a single sheet of B5 paper. In order to erase several lines from the middle, someone had torn them out. Judging from the size of the letters, the missing section is estimated to be 2 to 3 lines. It's highly probable that the person who eliminated the lines in question is not the suspect. In addition, judging from traces of large quantities of cellophane tape being stuck to the back of the clock, speculation that something other than the note was stuck there has arisen. The person who first discovered the crime Was the detective rumored to have a connection with the incident? Kurado Oishi. He underwent voluntary questioning, but denies involvement in any damages to the note. The suspect's note. Okay, here we go. I, Keiichi Maibara, am in fear for my life. I do not know why they are after my life. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Oishiro-sama's curse. Rin and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This is all in the first sheet. The section below this has been ripped out. This is from the second sheet. The section above has been ripped out. I've no idea why it has become like this. If you're reading this, then I'm probably already dead. Though you may or may not find my body. You who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. Keiichi Maibara. I'm kind of blanking on what he said he wrote. Like the missing section, I'm blanking on it. I'll surely, remember it when I'm editing. But I'm blanking right now. A new scenario has been unlocked. All cast review has been available. To play it, select extra on the title menu, and then pick the all cast review session. Oh yeah, I was also told apparently the cafe they went to is not a maid cafe. It is a normal cafe with normal, not maid clothes. I've been told this. And that appears to be the end of the first section of Higurashi, the first chapter, I think it's called. I don't know if they call them episodes or chapters here. So, someone clearly tampered with the evidence. It could have been Oishi-san. It could have potentially been one of the men that broke into his house. Not broken, but, they potentially could have broken after that. Taken the evidence, because figuring he may have tried to leave a note behind, and all that. But I'm very suspicious, because obviously he was counting on the evidence of that syringe being there, and it wasn't. Very important piece of evidence. But it also doesn't tell us, if he got injected. Clearly, because of the way he reacted, I'm pretty darn sure he did. But we don't know. For sure. It's a mystery, alright. Now, I don't know exactly what happens after this. Like, I know there's more chapters, and I'm gonna go and buy them soon. And, we'll keep playing through Higurashi. But, I don't know how the story plays out, Like, obviously, Umineko played out, slight spoiler, not really if you played past chapter 1, but, Umineko plays out where once you finish the story the first time, you play it again, in a slightly different way, if that makes sense. Some things change, it's a little bit different, but you play the same story, so I don't know if that's the route we're taking in this, or if we're going to have maybe a different person's perspective of the story. I don't know, because it kind of feels like we just got told a story with a not great end, but it's not the end of the story, So that's kind of why they can do that, cliffhanger style. And, I guess what I'm going to end up doing, just like I did with Umineko, is I'm going to give final chapter thoughts on these after I finish them. Now, there was that All-Star Cast review. What is that? We didn't get any tips, did we, from that last thing? No, we didn't. Now, All-Star Cast review, what is this? Is it like more story, or what? Yeah.
はい、日暮らしの泣く頃に水鬼隠しをプレイされた皆さん、お疲れ様でした。
Okay, we're gonna stop. We're not gonna keep going. Mostly because I think if I add all my time together, I'm sitting at something not quite 3 hours, but definitely close. And keep in mind that I do have to go and it's been about half an hour since then, but the first hour of this second set of this recording, I'm gonna have to go and re-record. So I don't want to give myself too much work tonight, but we'll come back and do this later. I don't know if this is a short, 5-minute thing, or this is long. I've seen tea parties from Uineko be very long, so we can be prepared for that. So anyway, be on the lookout for, obviously, this bit coming up. I'll do some final thoughts. I might even wrap them together if this is a short thing. It just depends. I'll have to think a bit. And I think that's about it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. The mystery is unresolved, obviously. But if nothing else, I'm pretty sure we're going to find, more mystery and more fun by playing the next chapter. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time for some more Higurashi. Bye!